Am I the a-hole for beating my parents to the chase and moving out in the middle of the night? Original post. I-18, female, overheard conversations with my mom and my dad, 39F and 40M, about how they planned to kick me out shortly after my 18th birthday. The way they were talking about it seemed like they were dead serious, and the way it was brought up multiple times made it seem like they were going to kick me out too. So I decided that I wouldn't give them the chance to kick me out and made plans with my friend Riley, 17F, to stay at her place until I graduated and moved into a college dorm or had an apartment of my own. Riley's parents were horrified at the thought my parents would kick me out the second I turned 18 and agreed to let me stay at their place as long as I graduated high school. Riley, her parents, and my boyfriend Cole, 18mm, came after midnight to help me take my belongings to their car and drive me to Riley's house. My parents woke up in the middle of this and asked me what the hell was going. I kind of shrugged and told them that I was moving out before they could kick me out. My parents tried to deny this and attempted to stop me from leaving, but there was nothing that they could do since I'm a legal adult. By the way, I wasn't just going to leave in the middle of the night without any goodbye. I already put a note on the kitchen table where my mom goes to first in the morning explaining what happened. Right now, I'm at Riley's house in their spare bedroom, and I've gotten bombarded with calls from my parents asking me to come back and not to tell my grandparents about this. In one text, my mom called me an ungrateful bitch for leaving in the middle of the night and that she should have kicked me out sooner. Now, for the update. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting to see my story on r/ when I woke up this morning, but here we are. I honestly forget about this account and struggle to remember the password, but here we go. A lot of shocking information was revealed, and this is just my brief, messy account of it. So, like you all suggested I do, I told my grandparents what happened with screenshots of my parents' texts after I went to Riley's house. Let me tell you that they were livid at what my parents were saying to me and the fact they were planning to kick me out. I ended up meeting up with them and staying with them at their place for a few days while they tried to figure out what the fuck was going on with my parents. My mom and dad were being sent money monthly by my grandma and grandpa for my college funds since they mostly depleted it after my brother Alex moved out, because he was tired of them begging him for money due to their gambling addictions. My mom admitted that their plan was to kick me out but act like I moved out willingly because I found an apartment and get double the money that they were previously getting to help out with my rent money once they asked my grandparents for it. Grandma yelled at my mom over the phone and told her that she'd never see a dime of her money again. She told my mom that she would rewrite her will so that the money my mom would have gotten would go to me, which my mom freaked out at. My dad blew up my phone one more time before I blocked both him and my mom's numbers for good, calling me an evil cunt and telling me that he wished my mom aborted me. So yeah. I talked with my brother Alex, and the only thing he really had to say, or ask, I guess, was why our parents' scummy behavior hadn't been called out when they were trying to legitimately steal his paychecks to go gamble. I'm sorry if this is kind of rambly, but this was the best I could do at the moment. Thank you all for your advice, and I'll maybe give another update if anything else happens, but I doubt it will. Story 2. My 29F girlfriend 27DF of 4 years just told me that she's pregnant. I'm a woman, so it can't be mine. What do I do? Original post. I'm still in shock, so bear with me. My life feels like a soap opera right now. Apologies, this will probably be long. Here's some background. My girlfriend Anna and I have been together for 4 years with intentions of getting engaged sometime this year. To clarify, we are 2 women in a relationship. I am a lesbian, always have been, but Anna is bisexual and has had serious relationships with men in the past. This has never been an issue for us because we love each other and have a healthy and stable relationship. But now, as you can imagine, I'm second guessing everything. What went down? In the last month, Anna had been complaining about putting on weight, particularly in her stomach area. Anna is thin and athletic, so the little belly she developed is notable. She has been going to the gym more and started eating much healthier than she usually does. We didn't notice any improvements with her weight loss, but I told her that it takes time and that she will eventually lose the weight. Pregnancy never ever crossed my mind for obvious reasons. Last week, she really started freaking out about her weight gain, so she scheduled a doctor's appointment. She had the appointment yesterday afternoon and afterwards called me at work and told me that we needed to talk. I could tell she had been crying. I'm freaking out at this point now, thinking that she is terminally ill or something. I start tearing up, asking her to tell me what's wrong, but she insists on meeting at home. I leave work immediately and get home to see her sitting on the couch, her face puffy from crying. I'm shaking and tears are streaming down my face. I ask her about the doctor's appointment and what is going on. She can barely get the words out through her sobs. She tells me that she went to the doctor and that they told that she is 13 weeks pregnant. I stop crying, but my brain is trying to comprehend what she just told me. All I could say was, "What?" over and over. She is still sobbing, saying she is so confused and she has no idea how this happened. I have never really seen her in a state like that. She seems genuinely upset and confused, but then again, so am I. As I started registering what is going on, I ask, "Did you sleep with someone?" And she only starts crying more, swearing on her life that she didn't sleep with anyone. So I'm like, "But you did. You're pregnant. There is no way that you didn't cheat on me." To which she replies, "I have no fucking clue how this happened, but I swear to God, I didn't sleep with anyone. You have to believe me." We go back and forth for 30 minutes or so, both of us still confused. I told her that I needed to think, so I called a friend and spent last night at his house. I've been talking with friends and everyone is confused, but agreeing that Anna must have cheated on me. I keep playing over our conversations in my head though, like if she knew that she had slept with a guy and that she could be pregnant, why would she go to the doctor? Why wouldn't she have just gotten an abortion secretly? She could have used a Plan B pill just in case. Like she could have gotten away with this. Maybe I'm being foolish here, but it genuinely seemed like she had no idea why she was gaining the weight in her stomach. A couple nights we talked at length about the possibilities why she was gaining weight just in that region, and pregnancy never crossed our minds. I'm also playing back the potential date that she could have cheated on me, considering she is 13 weeks along. We live together and have similar work schedules. We both work 9-5 jobs. And if I'm thinking of the right week that this could have happened, there's nothing that stands out of the ordinary to me. There weren't any late nights or suspicious activity that would have concerned me. I feel like I'm driving myself crazy, and I feel like I can't trust her. She's been texting me asking if we can talk, and I told her that I need more time. I want to believe that she is telling me the truth, but I can't think of any reason how she could be pregnant without having slept with some guy, but it's also confusing given the situation. So Reddit, what are your thoughts? Does my girlfriend have a case of lesbian immaculate conception, or am I being a fool for doubting that she cheated on me? How do I handle this situation, and how do I talk to her? Everything feels very confusing right now. Thanks in advance for reading. How are the updates? So a lot has happened since the original post. Thank you to everyone that responded with helpful comments. It seems like most people came to 3 possible conclusions with Anna's pregnancy. She cheated on me and got pregnant. She was the victim of a drugging scenario and doesn't remember anything. The doctor is wrong. After spending the night at my friend's house and ignoring Anna's calls and texts, I decided to see her the next day to talk. We made a plan to meet at her house after work. I wasn't sure what to expect from our conversation. I thought I might get a confession of her cheating on me, or something along those lines. So we met at home. She asked me how I was doing, and I told her that I was still pretty confused and upset. She understood. Then I said, "I have to know, did you sleep with someone, or cheat on me, or come near sperm in any way, shape, or form since we have been together?" She swore up and down that she did not, very sincerely. She said, "I know that this is fucking crazy and literally unbelievable, but I swear to God I didn't cheat on you. I am just as confused as you are." I still wasn't entirely convinced, so I asked her about the doctor's visit specifically. She did not get an ultrasound. They only took a urine sample. I guess she told them her symptoms. They took a urine sample, concluded she was pregnant, and sent her on her way. I asked why they gave her a specific gestation period, and she didn't know. I'm not entirely sure why they did either. Of course, I was like, "Did you tell the doctor that it's impossible that you're pregnant? That you've been with a woman for the last 4 years?" And the doctor gave her grief for it. Essentially implied that she must have slept with a man because she's pregnant, and that's why she was experiencing her symptoms. I'm not sure if this is a common occurrence for a doctor, but she said he seemed completely unfazed by her claims of not having slept with a man. For those of you that mentioned her period, Anna has an irregular period. Sometimes she gets it and sometimes she doesn't. So there was no cause for alarm when she didn't get her period for 3 months because A, she can't get pregnant, and B, more sex for us. I guess the doctor saw the signs of a post-IV pregnancy test, and lack of period and pregnancy was the most reasonable option. After hearing about that, I said that she should schedule another doctor's appointment with a different doctor as soon as possible. She told me that she had and had the appointment the next day, yesterday. We decided it was best that I go with her to the appointment. The first order of business with the new doctor was the ultrasound. I sat with Anna as they put the gel on her stomach, and I was honestly sweating bullets. I kept thinking to myself, what if she is actually pregnant? I thought I was going to pass out, but Anna seemed calm. They confirmed that Anna is not pregnant, but she had a mass on her ovary that was a cause for concern. It was one of the most emotionally confusing moments of my life. Anna and I looked at each other, not sure if we should celebrate the not pregnancy or cry or what. Anna still has more appointments, but the new doctor gave her the diagnosis of stage 1 ovarian cancer. This explains the positive pregnancy tests and the bloated stomach. This also explains why she wasn't able to lose the weight in her stomach. The doctor also mentioned that the irregular periods should have been a sign of concern for Anna, as women with irregular periods can be more at risk for ovarian cancer. I'm devastated and hopeful. Anna is still in shock. She has been through a lot in the past couple of days. I am supporting her the best I can, and we are figuring out a game plan. Naturally, we are both terrified of what's to come. This will be a huge part of her life and my life, and probably put our plans to get engaged / married / have kids on hold, if she can even have kids after all of this. Anna even joked about the fact that she wishes she had actually been pregnant with the Messiah. That way we could keep the kid and not have this horrible diagnosis. So I guess this is a happy / sad update. Thanks to everyone for reading. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for not wanting anything to do with my mother-in-law? I, 45F, am married to a wonderful man, 45M, named Jack. Jack's mom, Dee, also fake, and her husband, Tom, fake name, I want nothing to do with. Tom has been to jail on a no contest / guilty plea involving children. That alone gives me ick and makes me want to stay away. What makes things worse is that Dee gave Jack up to his grandparents because of Tom not wanting him around and her not taking care of him. Tom is not Jack's father. Jack's father is either Dee's first husband or one of his brothers or a friend of her first husband's. We don't know. Most of them are dead, and Dee admits to sleeping with everyone and their brother, literally. Tom and Dee have 4 kids together. In order for Tom to get out of prison early and go home, Dee gave up custody of their kids to their aunt, Tom's sister. Over time, they became guardians of their disabled son as an adult and would take his disability check for their bills and give him nothing while they were capable of working, and Tom received veterans benefits. My first meeting with Dee was shortly after Jack and I got engaged. She started yelling and screaming at me because I walked into the house so I could sit down to take off a pair of lace-up knee-high boots instead of taking them off at the door. I physically had to be able to sit down to take the boots off, and she was blocking the only place to sit by the door. I kept asking her calmly to stop yelling at me because I don't respond well to it, and she would only get louder and louder. It got to the point she was threatening to physically attack me. Granted, I am twice this woman's weight, way stronger, and over 20 years younger, and could have easily hurt her, but I didn't really want to go that way. Finally, I told her to go ahead. Hit me, because I would have her in jail so fast it wouldn't be funny, and I would press charges. She then proceeded to kick my then fiance out of his grandmother's house. Hat's right, she was throwing this fit over not her house, but her mother's house, where my fiance lived and cared for his grandmother, because Dee couldn't because of her husband. After this happened, Dee insisted she would care for her mother, but she didn't even last 3 days before she left her bedridden mother alone at home, stating she had to go home to take care of her husband and give him a bath. Yes, she had to bathe her fully adult, fully capable husband. Her grandmother was left alone so long she ended up calling 911 to have someone come help her to go to the bathroom. When paramedics arrived and saw his grandmother's legs, which had transformed in the worst possible way in 3 days' time, they insisted on taking her to the hospital. Dee got a chewing out from my husband and her 2 daughters when my husband got the call at work. He was still listed as her emergency contact. This turned out to be the first of many hospitalizations she had under Dee's care. During this time, Dee tried to steal my husband's dog and ruin my reputation in an industry where your reputation is your career. She went and told so many lies about me, my fiance, and our relationship. It isn't funny. She almost caused a fight between me and my sister-in-law. It got so bad, we couldn't even have a wedding and had to lie and say we broke up so we could just have a courthouse marriage in peace. That was honestly my breaking point. To go so far as to attack my career, reputation, and then try to destroy my marriage before it even began, it was too much. I made it clear I was done to my fiance, and he accepted that going forward, I would tolerate as long as his grandma was alive, but after, I wanted zero contact. Of course, after we got married, Dee's tune changed. It became, "How are you? I miss you. I love you." This is my daughter-in-law, said with the most pride in her voice ever. She has never apologized and said she never did any of those things. Meanwhile, Jack's grandma was diagnosed with COPD. She and Dee were put on oxygen, and Tom started having really bad breathing issues. Well, Dee started smoking in the house instead of outside because it was more comfortable. When Jack's grandma showed signs of dementia, I brought up just having the test run to rule it out. I was told over and over, she don't have that, by Dee, even though eventually the test was run, and it came back she did. My sister-in-law did the she told you so for me. When we tried to have Thanksgiving dinner at their house, Dee turned it into a disaster, insisting things had to be cooked a certain way and we could only make certain dishes. We had to make a turkey and a ham, etc. In the end, we canceled as it was too much hassle. When Jack's grandma was at the end, she wanted to die at home. Dee sent her to the hospital and then called Jack that evening to tell him. We rushed to the hospital. San spent her last hour and a half with her. While my husband said goodbye to the woman who raised him, I was contacting my mother-in-law and sister-in-laws and telling them to get to the hospital. What does Dee do? She video calls us. She insists on talking to her mom and keeps demanding we put her mom on the phone. Her mom wasn't conscious at that point, but Dee would not give up until I flipped the camera around and showed her the truth. Dee arrived not long after. She had actually passed, but before the doctor came in and pronounced. She was all tears and crying and wailing at that point. Once the doctor pronounced, there were 0 tears and she booked it out of there. When I gently asked if she would like me to contact the funeral home for her, she bit my head off. I backed off and my husband and I went home. The next day, Dee and her daughters went to see Jack's grandmother one last time at the funeral home, but didn't tell Jack anything about going until it was too late and she had been sent for cremation. They didn't invite him, message him, nothing, till late that night. Then Dee couldn't understand why Jack was upset and didn't want to talk to her. At every turn, Dee has gaslit, lied, and just outright denied truth after truth, or just made something very simple, very complicated. Now the home smells of cigarettes and like a bathroom. Because Tom insists on doing his business in a toilet chair, but doesn't empty it for a day or two. And yes, Dee still gives him his baths, but she refuses to touch his chair. When I try to talk basic common knowledge or sense things with her, it's like talking to a wall. She doesn't get it. Trying to talk about any complicated matters like things in the news, music, work topics in general, legal matters, etc. is impossible. She just gets loud and starts yelling no matter what. Dee also will sell off things like furniture, clothing, etc. just so she has money for cigarettes. She keeps asking when I am going to visit or when I will call her. When she calls my husband, who will put her on speaker, and I will say nothing and act like I am not even home so I can avoid talking to her. If I am doing something that requires noise or music, etc., I put on headphones. Someone told me I should work extra hard to get along with her as she is my husband's mother, but as much as I have tried, I just can't. She has caused too many bad things to happen in the time I have known her and is honestly just extremely difficult to deal with. It honestly gives me a headache to deal with her. Am I the a-hole because I want nothing to do with her now after everything?